Ladies and gentlemen, let no one underplay this for you. India's parliament, this country's most secure building, a building that houses our MPs and by extension our democracy, was breached today. Yes, there were no gunshots or bomb blasts or bloodshed, but it easily could have been. This is a VVIP failure of epic proportions, ladies and gentlemen. One that could have been disastrous and ended in a massacre. That it didn't is simply our good luck. And that it happened on the 22nd anniversary of the Parliament attack is no coincidence either. Look at the pictures. They were live. The entire country was watching. It was 1:04. These pictures, both unnerving and unacceptable. First, we see a young man jump down from the visitors' gallery in the Lok Sabha, leaping across tables where MPs are seated, and then releasing a canister spewing yellow smoke. This man on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, is Sagar Sharma. He's an engineering student from Mysuru. He was screaming, "Tana Shahi nahi chalegi." He wasn't alone. A second intruder at the visitors' gallery too released this yellow substance. And then something happened that we can't show you because a request has come in from the Lok Sabha Secretariat. Once the MPs got over the shock of this intrusion, they got into action. 6 of them encircled Sagar, apprehend him and beat him up. The other intruder, meanwhile, has also jumped off the visitors' gallery. He is apprehended by Congress MP Gurjeet Aujla. Gurjeet will be joining us live in just a bit to tell us what exactly happened. Meanwhile, simultaneously, there is high drama outside Parliament as well. There are coloured smoked canisters being exploded by 2 people. This is right outside Parliament. A man and a woman, Anmol Shinde, who's 25, and Neelam, who is 42. They've both been apprehended. Now, both incidents have a common thread and are probably linked. We have nothing official on the matter because the government hasn't spoken on the matter so far. We are being told that a multi-agency probe is underway as we speak. But the questions are many. How could India's most secure building be breached? How could visitors cross not 1, not 2, but 3 layers of security with chemicals stuffed inside their shoes? What if this was poisonous? What if the Prime Minister of this country was inside the building? This is a security and intelligence failure. Question is, where and when will accountability be fixed? Sagar Sharma's visitors' pass bore the stamp of a BJP MP, Pratap Simha from Mysuru. Will he be questioned? As we speak, Parliament's security protocol has got another upgrade. There'll be full body X-ray machines just like the ones you have in airports. Why they weren't here in the first place is a mystery. Visitors' passes have been suspended for the moment. The visitors' gallery will have a glass shield. Even ex-MPs, for the moment, will not be allowed into Parliament.
The fact that these people were apparently sponsored by a sitting MP of the ruling party, I don't want to take any names until the details are publicly known. Secondly, that these fellows smuggled in these smoke pistols, which shows a very serious security lapse. Thirdly, that not only did they fire the pistols, they leapt into the floor, they shouted some slogans which are not available to some of us, but the fact that they did that is better than if they had actually tried to kill people. This is the anniversary of a tragic assault in Parliament where 7 of our people died. I mean, we can't, take these matters lightly.
आज बहुत ही बड़ा सिक्योरिटी लैप्स हुआ है जब देश जो है संसद पर अटैक की 21 साल हुए हैं। आज हम अपने उन शहीद सुरक्षा कर्मियों को जो है श्रद्धांजलि दे रहे हैं और इसमें ये पता करने की जरूरत है कि किसके पास पर आए ये लोग, कहां से आए। जैसा कि भी प्राइमा फेसी पता चला है कि कोई एक कोई मैसूर के सांसद प्रताप सिम्हा जी के गेस्ट के रूप में पास पर आया है। कोई सागर करके, उसका जब देखा तो उसका नाम कोई सागर करके है, जो जिस लड़के को एक को पकड़ा है।
Forget the politics for the moment. A multi-agency probe is currently underway. The woman apprehended, her name is Neelam. She is from Hisar. Her mother today has told the press that Neelam was just an educated girl who for the last many years had been desperately looking for a job but was unsuccessful. Listen in.
वीडियो आ रहा है, नीलम का प्रोटेस्ट किया दिल्ली में, धरना प्रदर्शन देखा हो आपने भी?
कोई बात नहीं चलाई और बेरोजगारी का उसका हिसाब था। बहुत मेरी लड़की तंग थी, तो इसमें हमारा इतना जुगाड़ भी नहीं है, इतनी पढ़ाई लिखाई टूके करने लिखाई पढ़ाई फिर मारा थी कोई कदम तो यार धरना बजा कर दी माँ पढ़ाई तो मतलब रख व्यापन धरना तो कुछ नहीं लेना। हमने वह भी रोक दी थी, फिर नहीं बोली मम्मी मेरे पेपर हैं, फिर उसके लिए हमने पढ़न खातिर आसार छोड़ दी। हमने कोई बेरा नहीं था यू।
तो इस आर कब छोटी झंडी
5 महीने हो गए मेरी छोरी ने लड़की ने सार जाए।
तो आज कोई बात हुई थी उनसे दिल्ली गई?
हाँ आज दिल्ली की कोई बात नहीं हुई। हम डॉक्टर का मेरा सीसी चढ़े थी और वह नहीं बोली माँ अच्छा डॉक्टर का दिखा ले भाई, हार्ट की बीमारी है तो आप मारे जावा मर जामा।
तो आज बात हुई कोई आज?
हाँ आज वही डॉक्टर के थे हम,
लेकिन बताया नहीं उसने दिल्ली
ना, कोई बताया नहीं हमारा मैं दिल्ली।
तो क्या करेंगे मतलब आंटी ऐसा कदम उन्होंने उठाया, प्रोटेस्ट कराया, तो कोई बेरोजगारी की बात कराया करती घर पर?
हाँ बेरोजगारी की बात कराया करती, नहीं बोली माँ इतनी मम्मी मैं इतनी पढ़ ली 2 रोटियां का रोजगार नहीं मिलता, इस तकरी तो मैं मर जू। ये बात जरूर कहा कर दी।
घर की स्थिति कैसी है
जी? हम तो गरीब से यहाँ भी अपना लाइफ पेट चला रहे हैं।
Let me go straight across to my colleague Bhavtosh, who's joining us live from the Parliament Street Police Station. Bhavtosh, we just heard from Neelam's mother, who's saying she was just a disgruntled, educated woman who had not got a job for many years. Do we know the profile of the other 4 people who've been caught? The one we are seeing on our screens is an engineering student from Mysore. The person who had accompanied him, I believe, was from Mysore as well, a 35-year-old who again was unemployed. Do we have any clarity on who these people were and, more importantly, how they got together?
Well, the police, Shreya, has not yet officially issued a statement, so one has to wait and see what these individuals were actually doing and what prompted them to carry out this incident, which is now being dubbed as one of the most biggest security breaches that has been seen in the capital in recent times. Remember, this incident happened exactly 22 years after the parliament attack, and in fact, early in this morning, the Prime Minister and other senior leaders had, in fact, were present at the Parliament and observed the 22nd anniversary of the Parliament attack. We are right outside the Parliament Street Police Station, where all 4 of them who have been detained in this case are presently being questioned, and you can see the kind of security arrangements that have been put in place, preventing anyone from entering inside. These are intelligence agencies officials who are presently questioning them. They want to verify each and every answers that these 4 individuals are giving before they can issue any statement. The entire top brass of the Delhi police went inside the parliament and they tried explaining what happened. Remember, parliament, as far as parliament is concerned, the security of parliament is with the watch and ward staff. It is not with the Delhi police. Then you have one layer of security which is with paramilitary forces, and then the outer periphery or the roads leading to the parliament are with the Delhi police. And at all levels there has been a breach. Who issued the visitor's pass and why this pass was given is also subject matter of investigation. Lok Sabha Speaker has already written to the Special Secretary Home that there should be an FIR under what sections of the Indian Penal Code or whether UAPA would be slapped in this case. One has to wait and see. What we have gathered from sources is that these youngsters were in fact wanted to highlight one issue of unemployment and also joblessness, and they all met on social media. In fact, their Instagram profile and other profile showed that they knew each other. but what exactly led them to carry out this incident will only be confirmed when their questioning gets over. Back to you.
Okay, Baftosh, a very quick question. There have been reports that say that probably there were more than 4. There were probably 7 people who were involved. Is that something you can confirm for us? And if there were 7 people involved, 4 of them are with the, with agencies currently being questioned. What about the other 3?
Yes, Shreya, in fact, more than 4 are involved. 4 of them are presently inside Parliament Street Police Station. 2 who, in fact, were caught outside the Parliament, and 2, in fact, who jumped inside the well of the house. And there are 3 others who provided them a refuge in their house. One of them have been identified as Lalit Jha. He stays in Gurgaon. And there are 2 others, husband and wife, who also knew these 4 who have now been detained. The police are not saying whether the other 3 have also been detained. Teams have in fact gone to their house. So it would be a night-long investigation, and maybe it will stretch for another day. But the very fact that the police have been pulled up by the top brass of the government clearly shows they also need to answer many questions as to why this massive security breach happened. Though the police on its part had said that there were other agencies who were involved as far as the inside security periphery is involved. But it's high time that heads must roll, because this massive security breach clearly shows that there were individuals who were responsible for this incident.
Okay, and this is a wake-up call. Ladies and gentlemen, just imagine if these were not unemployed people of this country, but were people employed by Pakistan. What if these were terrorists? What if they were carrying knives? What if they were carrying poisonous gases inside the house? This could have been a massacre. Also, no sympathy, absolutely no sympathy for these 4 people who have done what they have done. They are jobless, they have an issue, they wanted to highlight an issue. But is this the way you highlight an issue? By breaching your country's parliament? This is an attack on democracy, ladies and gentlemen. This is not something acceptable. We accept joblessness is an issue for many, many young people in this country. Despite being educated, they don't have jobs. It is a cause of frustration. But this is not how you take out that frustration. You do not take out that frustration by breaching your country's parliament. You will have to face the consequences for it. Let me go across to 2 people, 2 members of parliament who were present when this entire high drama, this security breach was playing out. MP Gurjeet Aujla, he's from the Congress party. In fact, he's one of the people who apprehended. There were 2 intruders in the Lok Sabha today. He's the one who apprehended one of them. And Shiv Sena UBT MP Arvind Sawant was present in the house as well, seeing everything that is playing out. Mr. Aujla, for obvious reasons, I'm coming to you first. We saw the visuals of what happened inside the Lok Sabha. Can you describe to us the entire events and how you got to a position where you felt that this second intruder needed to be held, someone needed to apprehend him?
एक्चुअल जब 0 आवर चल रहा था तो 0 आवर के बाद एडजर्नमेंट होना था लंच के लिए, तो मैं 17 नंबर मेरा था बोलने का। मैं फार्मर इशू पे बोल के बैठा ही था कि थोड़ी देर बाद ही पीछे से आवाज आती, गैलरी से जंप करते हैं 2 लोग कि पकड़ो इनको पकड़ो। जब मैंने देखा कि 2 लोग जंप कर लिए हैं गैलरी से, तो मैं फिर उसी टाइम उनकी तरफ भागे। तो पता नहीं था कि क्या बात हो रही है, लेकिन ऐसा लगा कि एकदम जैसे कोई हमला के टाइप हो चुका है। तो फिर हमने उनकी तरफ भागे। एक आदमी को पहले पकड़ लिया, तो क्योंकि सारे मेंबर का ध्यान स्पीकर की तरफ होता है, तो दूसरे आदमी का इनको पता नहीं था। दूसरा आदमी पीछे बैठ के उसने वहां से वो पैर से बम निकाल लिया, वो जो स्मोक बम था। तो जब मैं उसको ढूंढने वहां पहुंचा तो वो उस समय उसने निकाल के वो आगे की तरफ बढ़ने लगा। फिर उसको वहां से दबोच कर उसको बड़ी मशक्कत के साथ उसके हाथ से वो खींचा, और खींच के मैं बाहर लेकर उसको बाहर की तरफ भागा कि बाहर इसको फेंक दूं, क्योंकि पता नहीं था क्या है क्या नहीं है। तो उसमें काफी मतलब बाकी मेंबर पार्लियामेंट पहुंच गए, सिक्योरिटी पहुंच गई, उसको भी दबोच लिया हमने, दोनों को ही दबोच लिया वहां।
Mr. Aujla, then I would want to ask you before I go to Mr. Sawant. आप कह रहे हैं आपने उनको दबोच लिया, बड़ी आसानी से बोल रहे हैं, बट द फैक्ट इज कि आपको तो पता नहीं था कि ये लोग जॉबलेस लोग हैं जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं और टेररिस्ट नहीं हैं, और इनके हाथ में जो है कैनिस्टर, कलर कैनिस्टर गैस है और कुछ नहीं है। तो जब आप उनके पास गए, जो सेकंड इंट्रूडर था उसके पास आप उसको दबोचने गए, क्या आपको डर नहीं लगा कि यार कुछ भी हो सकता है?
देखो, एक टाइम तो सारे पैनिक हो गया था, लेकिन परमात्मा की बख्शिश है, हमने उनको रोकने के लिए हम उनकी तरफ भागे कि ये कहीं आकर आगे, क्योंकि सारे एमपी आगे बैठे हुए थे ज्यादातर, तो उनकी तरफ सीट के ऊपर से जंप आ रहा था। तो ये सोचने का समय नहीं था, ये तो परमात्मा की कोई शक्ति कह लो, या कुछ भी हमारा जो जीन्स है या परमात्मा की, क्योंकि आप देखते ही हो कि कैसा है, जैसे बॉर्डर पे कोई बात हो, देश से पहले ज्यादा बात हो, हर जगह ये जीन्स ही होते, कह सकते हैं कि हमने तो ये सोचा भी नहीं कि उसके हाथ से बम पकड़ के मैं बाहर को भाग रहा हूँ, इसमें क्या है। मैं तो उसको पकड़कर उसको बाहर फेंकने के लिए भागा, तो बाहर आगे सिक्योरिटी, मैंने उनको पकड़ा के मैंने कहा बाहर इसको फेंक के आओ जल्दी। तो वो फिर हम दोबारा आकर उसकी तलाशी वगैरह ली भी, उसमें और तो कुछ नहीं है। तो वो समय 1-1.5 मिनट में तभी हो सकता है जैसे आपको दिल से था कि ये कैसे होना नहीं चाहिए। कौन है कि युद्ध करता है कि हमारे अंदर बैठे हुए तो आपके ऊपर हमला कर देगा कोई ऐसे। तो वो सारी बात जो कुदरती कह सकते हो परमात्मा की मर्जी से, और एक पार्लियामेंट के ऊपर जो इतना बड़ा है, तो हम तो देश के साथ, हमारे तिरंगे के साथ, ये एक जज्बा है अंदर से जो उठता है। तो एक जज्बे को ही लेकर कोई पता ही नहीं था कि क्या होने वाला, हम तो रिजर्वमेंट मोशन होने वाला था। लेकिन उसी समय जब ये हल्ला गुल्ला मचा पार्लियामेंट में, तो हमने तो सिर्फ एक यही उसको निशाना पकड़ा कि इसको कैसे भी इनको पकड़ना है, इनको आगे ना बढ़ पाए। तो वो ललकारा दूर से, और सबके सांसद का ध्यान हुआ तो हनुमान बेनीवाल थे, उन्होंने आगे से घेर लिया उसको वहां से पकड़कर। मैं तो फिर दूसरे की तरफ भाग गया ना कि दूसरा भी पीछे है, तो वो इनको नहीं पता था, क्योंकि इन्होंने नहीं देखा, मैंने उसको गिरते देखा दूसरे को। तो जब उसकी तरफ भागा उतनी देर को वो उसने बम निकाल के, वो जो स्मोक बम था वो आगे की तरफ बढ़ने लगा। नादर वो कुछ नारे लगा रहा था, जैसे कि ये लोकतंत्र बहाल करो, तानाशाही बंद करो, ये ऐसे 2-3 उसने नारे लगाए। तो इतने को मैंने उसको पकड़ के, उसके मेरी हाथापाई शुरू होगी, वो छोड़ता नहीं था बम को। तो फिर मैंने उसको पकड़कर जल्दी उसको बाहर जोर से उसको धकेल कर उससे छीन कर मैंने बाहर को ले गया।
Okay, let me get in Arvind Sawant into the conversation as well, because Mr. Aujla had one view of what was happening and Arvind Sawant had another view of what was happening. Mr. Sawant, आपने क्या देखा? What did you see from where you were?
See, the business was running. I think 0 hour business was running, and Mr. Shashi Tharoor was placing his demand during the 0 hours were there. I was sitting beside Dr. Ashwini, and Sudev Mansur Mandia was adjacent to that. And as I was talking to them, naturally my sight was towards the visitors gallery. I saw a person stood immediately. I thought he must be he will give some slow. Suddenly he jumped and hung to the bars of the visitors gallery. For a moment he hanged over there and then jumped inside the house. After jumping inside the house, he started jumping from one bench to another on to the top of the benches. And he was running towards, you can say, the chair. But somehow, by watching that, by that time, another person also jumped inside. And then all MPs who were there present in the house gathered from all sides, geared him, and finally caught them. But before catching, I saw him removing his shoes. He removed the shoes. I thought he is going to remove the shoes and throw it on, whatever it may be. I don't know whatever the intention, but he was caught. And suddenly, the gas has emanated. I don't know what was the source of the gas. Whether something was there in his shoes or what, because you couldn't see it from my side, where I was sitting. And then the gas has come. The other person who did the same thing. Again, gas has come from there also. And see the date on which they had done it. It is the same date. On 13th of December 2001, the terrorists attacked the parliament. So many soldiers and all those who sacrificed the very day. These guys, but at that time they could not dare to enter inside. Today it is the other way. They were sitting in the gallery, visitors gallery, jumped inside, and inside the out. Had the gas been poisonous, what would have happened?
Mr. Sawant, then can I ask you, what was the reaction of MPs around you? Because this is happening on a day which is exactly 22 years to the day when India's parliament was attacked. That time, intruders, terrorists, 5 of them, weren't able to enter the parliament building. But this time, the parliament building and parliament security was breached.
It was really shocking. For a moment, it was shocking. How come? Because I was there in assembly, in Maharashtra also it has happened in the past. But never ever said somebody came with like a weapon. It's a threat. What sort of gas that was? That is what I'm really shocked when the gas emanated from that to that person. It has come through what? Whether it was there, something was there in the shoes or what? That that was more shocking than that. Jumping and then the gas, that was more shocking. And how come the gas has emanated from which? What was the source of emanation of the gas? I don't know.
मिस्टर औजला, आज के बाद जो हुआ है, पार्लियामेंट की सिक्योरिटी दोबारा से अपग्रेड की गई है. द पार्लियामेंट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट सिक्योर बिल्डिंग्स इन दिस कंट्री. इनफैक्ट इट इज द मोस्ट सिक्योर बिल्डिंग इन दिस कंट्री. लेकिन उसकी भी आज जो पूरी सिक्योरिटी है उसको रीलुक किया गया है, रिवैम्प किया गया है. आप कह रहे हैं कि विजिटर्स गैलरी में किसी को नहीं आने देंगे फिलहाल के लिए. एक ग्लास बैरियर लगेगा विजिटर्स गैलरी में. एक्स एमपीज को भी नहीं आने देंगे. हाउ डू यू रिएक्ट टू दीज चेंजेस? आर दे नेसेसरी?
देखिए, पहली बात है कि दुश्मन तो बातें ऐसी करता ही रहेगा, लेकिन हमारा देश भी है, लोग भी आना चाहेंगे. मैं ये चाहूंगा, ठीक है, थोड़े समय के लिए आप बंद करके इसकी तहकीकात कर लो, लेकिन ये बंद नहीं होना चाहिए. इसकी सजा आप एक्स एमपी को थोड़ा दे सकते हो कि आप नहीं आओ. एक्स एमपी आतंकवादी थोड़ा ना है. आपने इसका कुछ पैरामीटर सेट करो कि कैसे आना है, कहां तक आना है, किसने आना है. हम बंद कर दिया तो इसका तो हम तो फिर कहां, घर से भी नहीं निकल पाएंगे आप लोग. तो फिर घर से कैसे बाहर जाना है? ये बातें थोड़ा कि ये ताकतें ऐसा कोई हमला करेंगे तो उसके बाद हम इसको सबको बंद करके बैठ जाएंगे, फिर तो पार्लियामेंट भी बंद करवा दोगे. ऐसा नहीं. हम स्पीकर साहब को बेनती करेंगे मिलके कि स्पीकर साहब ये चलना चाहिए. आप इसको ऐसे करो. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है, इतनी टेक्नोलॉजी अभी आ गई है, आप टेक्नोलॉजी विकसित करो ना, क्योंकि आदमी वहां तक पहुंच ना पाए. आज तो आप अब इसको ये मतलब नहीं मानते. हम स्पीकर साहब को रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि ये सबका पास खुला होना चाहिए.
अरविंद सावंत, मिस्टर औजला इज सेइंग कि सबका पास खुला होना चाहिए. लेकिन एक सवाल जो बहुत लोग पूछ रहे हैं, मेनी पीपल हु हैव सीन व्हाट हैपेंड, एंड एवरीवन, बाय द वे, द एंटायर कंट्री हैज सीन व्हाट हैज हैपेंड ऑन टेलीविजन, बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ इट वाज लाइव. दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन आवर दैट वाज ऑन. द लोक सभा टीवी वाज ब्रॉडकास्टिंग these images live, so the entire country has seen what has happened. And many people are asking, where was parliament security? Where were the marshals? Why did it take MPs like Gurjeet Aujla to actually apprehend these intruders?
Marshals are adjusted to the chair. They stand adjusted to the chair. They have the other marshals, you can say, if you call the other security also marshal, they don't enter in the house. So our house is situated on the ground floor. The lobby where the marshals are available, 1 or 2 marshals are there in the lobby. They don't enter into the house. What is happening in the house? They'll come to know after some 1 or 2 minutes, you can say. But they are not standing inside the house. They don't stand inside the house. Naturally, the first thing what the member of parliament has done, they get out in properly from all sides, back side, foot side, everybody. So he could not have any escape to go anywhere and come out, because naturally in the house you don't have any escape at all once you land into the house. But the member of parliament showed the courage to catch hold of it without considering what he must be having in his, whether he's having any ammunition with him, weapon with him. We don't know it at all. But still, they dare to catch hold properly. Beaten him.
Okay. Mr. Aujla, my last question is to you. Many people are blaming Pratap Simha, the BJP MP from Mysuru, because, one of the accused, in fact, the main accused in the case, entered parliament after the approval of Mr. Simha. Essentially, MPs sponsor visitors to the visitors gallery, and the MP whose name was on the visitors pass for Sagar was Mr. Simha. Your party and other opposition parties are also raising these demands to question him and suspend him. How do you react to this? Do you think that's a little unfair, given the fact that MPs get requests from their constituencies, from people they know, from people they don't know, for passes to visit India's parliament, and MPs have a right and have a perk to give these visitors a chance to come and visit parliament? Are you an advocate of Mr. Simha being fired / suspended for what has happened today?
देखिए वो हमारा कुलीग है, मैं ऐसी बात नहीं है कि उसने कुछ सोच के दिया होगा, जो मेरा मानना है, क्योंकि हमारे से भी बहुत लोग ले जाते हैं, हर एमपी से पास लेते हैं। वो इसलिए कहा जा रहा है कि क्योंकि जो ऑपोजिशन का एमपी होता तो सरकार का ऑपोजिशन के एमपी के प्रति रवैया बहुत सख्त रहता है, तो क्या वो उसको छोड़ते? अब तक तो मेरा ख्याल है पुलिस भी उसको पकड़ के ले जाती। तो सरकार को उसकी तहकीकात जरूर करनी चाहिए, लेकिन हम ये नहीं मानेंगे कि हमारा कोई कुलीग ऐसा होगा, ऐसा कुलीग हमारा नहीं कर सकता, मेरा मानना है। लेकिन जो सरकार का तरीकाकार है उसकी वजह से सभी पार्टी अब कह रही है कि अब आप क्या करने वाले हो, क्या अभी, क्योंकि अब काफी कई बार एमपी को सस्पेंड किया है, राहुल जी को सस्पेंड किया है, महुआ मित्रा को सस्पेंड किया, औरों के ऊपर भी कार्रवाई हुई है। इसी को लेकर ये बात हो रही है कि अब आप क्या करेंगे, अब आप हम भी देखना चाहते हैं। लेकिन ये जो ताकतें होती हैं, ये तो एक ये शुक्र है परमात्मा का कि ये कोई मुसलमान या सिख नहीं निकल आया। मैं ये कहते हैं कि जो खराब लोग होते हैं वो किसी धर्म जात से नहीं होते, जिन्होंने तंग फैलाना है उनकी कोई जात धर्म नहीं होता। ये बात समझ लेना चाहिए सरकार को, क्योंकि कोई भी बात होती है, कई बार सिखों को ऐसे पेश कर देते हैं, कई बार मुसलमानों को कर देते हैं। समुदाय को मत टारगेट किया होना नहीं चाहिए, समुदाय को टारगेट। ये लोग एक अलग जात से होते हैं, इनकी जात ही टेरर की होती है, तो इनको टेरर की तरह एक आदमी को लेना चाहिए, एक समुदाय को नहीं लेना चाहिए। और ये शुक्र है कि वो किसी समुदाय से नहीं थे, वो ऐसे समुदाय से हैं जिसको सब प्रवानित है कि चलो ये हम अपने लोग हैं, लेकिन ये सब लोग ही देश के हैं, सब जात के धर्मों का इकट्ठा देश है। इसी तरह सबको देखना चाहिए कि जो गलत बंदा है वो सिर्फ बंदा गलत है, उसके जात वाले गलत नहीं है, उसके धर्म वाले गलत नहीं है। ये सीखने की जरूरत है आज के इंसिडेंट से।
Okay, Mr. Aujla, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sawant, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. It's God's grace that all of you are safe. All MPs in Parliament were safe today. It's because God was kind. It's because I think you got lucky. And India got lucky. Otherwise, this could have ended up very, very badly. My guest this evening, Karan Verma, is an author. Dolly Sharma is a spokesperson of the Congress Party. P.K. Mishra is a former Parliament security officer. He's someone who's an eyewitness to what happened in 2001. So is Neeraja Chaudhary, who's a senior journalist. All four joining us on the broadcast for a very quick chat. Before I get into other things, Karan, would you want to respond to what Mr. Aujla is saying?
Yes.
You know, the last comment he made was that what if this was a non-BJP MP? He would probably have been arrested by now. What if the people who had breached Parliament security were not Hindus? What if they were Muslims and Sikhs? What would have happened by now? Fact is, we did send an invite to the BJP to send a representative. They, in their wisdom, Karan, haven't, probably because they are still waiting for facts to become clear. So, you know, I hold no grudge here. But would you want to comment or respond to what Mr. Aujla said in his concluding remarks?
Shreya, I would not like to look at it through the prism of any religion or any party, because this affects everyone. I believe it affects each and every one of us across party lines when we talk about Parliament. And Shreya, I want to throw some light on it because besides an author, I am an entrepreneur who is dealing with a lot of state assemblies in terms of security and CCTV. So I think I have some idea, and I would like to bring your attention to a couple of facts. It is extremely lucky that we have not experienced this thus far, because we are sitting on a disaster. And let me tell you how. There is absolutely no CCTV audit system in place. I mean, there are technological tools available like ComSOR, which can audit what the CCTV has seen over the past few days. Look, suspicious activity, recce, all of this is visible. But of what use is it if we look at it retrospectively? There should be a norm, and it is now there in many of the schools, that 1 hour should be allotted to audit the CCTV footage of the previous days and see if there is some unsuspicious activity. Secondly, I have to tell you, the head marshals today are no longer just constrained with security. They've become the focal points of procurements, of tendering, and which is where we have massive lacunas. I don't want to name, but there are some assemblies where the head marshals have become this absolute gang leader, where they are enjoying a cozy life, they are issuing passes. This has become a business development hub where you come and visit and see the systems, and it's become more of a tourist place. So this needs to stop. The head marshal's accountability needs to be fixed. The marshals at the lower end, they do a stellar job. Okay. But the head marshal has been given unfettered power, especially principal secretaries. This really needs to be looked at. Otherwise, we are sitting on an absolute disaster. It's just lucky. I tell this to a lot of people. We are lucky this hasn't happened. This can happen every single day if it continues unfettered like this, without a proper audit and without the accountability of the head marshal.
Karan, are you suggesting to me that the men who have stormed into India's parliament today probably did a recce, probably had been to the visitors gallery at least a couple of times before doing what they did today? Because I've not heard any such. Logically, yes, it may make sense, but I've not heard from the agencies or the government saying anything to that effect.
Not only that, they would have recce'd the place outside the parliament also. Look, there are cameras which show the street outside the gates. Even there, if we see people who are coming, this cannot be the first time that they stormed in. For sure, they are aware of some routes. For sure, they've done some recce or the other, and it will come out. This happened in Tihar jail also, by the way, where we saw a murder earlier this year. There again, when the CCTV footage was looked at retrospectively, we found that yes, certain elements had come in which were not required there. Such things cannot happen without due preparation, without any recce of sorts. So I think an audit is an absolute must now. Yeah.
Okay. An audit will, of course, happen. After all, India's most secure building has been attacked. You think एक मक्खी पर नहीं मार सकती, if my Hindi is correct, एक पंछी पर नहीं मार सकता is what they say for India's parliament. Even accredited journalists cannot get inside India's parliament, and you have two intruders carrying some sort of colored chemical who don't just enter but leap across tables where MPs are sitting and let out this chemical. Thankfully, it was not poisonous. Question is, what if it was? Mr. P.K. Mishra, you are someone who's looked at Parliament security closely. You were in charge when the 2001 attack took place. Many people will say, we should have learnt our lessons. It has happened to us once. It should not have happened to us again, especially not in a new parliament.
Yes, I can tell you, Shreya, what has happened in 2001, we were successful in containing them outside of the building gate, and the firing took place just near the building gates, and our boys and girls, the security personnel, could close the building gates, for which all the honorable members of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, they were safe, and nobody could touch them, and whatever the firing happened, it all happened outside of the gate. And that was the training, and the combination of the training between IB and Parliament Security and Delhi Police, that was very nice. And that was the old Parliament. And after that, of course, there were a lot of development and technical development in Parliament security. It happened. But what happened today in the new Parliament, that also just on 22nd anniversary of that one, 13th December 2001, this shows it's not that it has been planned within 1 or 2 days. There was a planning. It's not that only these 4 persons or 6 persons who were involved. Definitely the planning has been done much before that. It's not that these persons, these 4 persons or these 2 persons, Sagar and Manrojan, they have recce'd. That might have been recce'd by some other people. They could have informed them. This is the route to follow. This is how we can do it. This is how they have carried this phosphorus elements inside the shoes, and they knew it very well that perhaps the shoes will not be checked. Whereas you find all over the world in airports, wherever it has happened, all these weapons, all the drugs, all the improvised explosive devices and the explosives, they have been carried in the shoes only. And this is a drawback. It is a very big security breach. It is a big security breach. It has happened in Parliament.
It's a blunder.
I was listening to Mr. Aujla. Yes, it's not yellow smoke. It could have been poisonous smoke, and we could have a lot of massacre of a lot of MPs there in Lok Sabha, and we got saved because, of course, let us find out what exactly had happened in the investigation, why they penetrated, why they sought, and why they took only this phosphorus yellow substance, not IEDs, but.
Maybe they just wanted to prove a point.
There was a breach of security.
Maybe they just wanted to prove a point.
In the 3 layer of security.
This is not even about.
Exactly.
You're telling us there are 3 layers of security, and no one, and absolutely.
Yes.
Just a minute, Mr. Mishra. There are 3 layers for any visitor. Ladies and gentlemen, Neerja Chaudhary, I want you to come in here as someone who's covered Parliament for many, many years. Neerja Chaudhary, there are 3 layers of security when it comes to a visitor. If I, as a visitor, want to enter the visitors gallery, there are 3 layers of security that I have to go through, where there will be a full frisking before I'm allowed to go to the visitors gallery. The breach is unpardonable, especially in a situation where things have become so strict in the new parliament, where even accredited journalists are not allowed. I want to ask you, when you saw what was playing out on your television screens this afternoon, how you reacted to the entire sequence of events?
Are you asking me, Shreya? Yes?
Yes, Neerja ji, that was for you.
Yes. First of all, thank God everybody is safe. First of all, thank God Parliament building is safe. But it has sent shock waves in the country. As you say, the most secure building in the country to be breached like that, and in such a bizarre way. People, these men jumping all over.
Go ahead, Neerja ji, I can hear you. Okay, I think Neerja ji's frame there has freezed. Would you just want to come in here, Dolly Sharma? I know that there are a lot of questions raised about Pratap Simha. Fact is, Dolly, there's one MP, Mr. Aujla, who was on the show, Dolly. He's saying, look, you can't really point a finger at the MP because he didn't know that this is what his pass is going to do. So don't overreact when you say कि इस प्रताप सिम्हा को हटा दो, question him, at least suspend him. What will the BJP do? Isn't this a breach of national security? Is that a bit of an overreaction from the opposition benches, Dolly?
No. Actually, this is, again, we've seen in 2001 an assault on the parliament. And this is again the anniversary of that assault today. The same incident, the breach of security has happened. If Congress government would have been in power, तो Prime Minister ने, जो आज हमारे Prime Minister है, उन्होंने कहा होता कि शुक्र है मैं बचकर आ गया, पार्लियामेंट से जिंदा वापस लौट आया है, ना जाने कितनी नौटंकियां होती, but ये बात सच है. This is actually the truth today. What we have seen this is for the first time in independent India, we've seen such incident happening in the parliament, such breach of security, somebody entering the parliament. Of course, it is a breach of security. Layers of the security has been broken, and somebody has reached with so many things that we've seen today happening in the parliament. So I think every parliament member sitting in the parliament should ask the home minister, should ask the prime minister of this country कि ये हुआ तो हुआ क्या, ये हुआ तो हुआ कैसे, इसकी इंक्वायरी होना चाहिए, इस पर प्रॉपर ये चेक होना चाहिए कि किस तरीके से कौन वहां आया, किसकी हेल्प से आया, क्योंकि जो पहले हमने अपने देश के पार्लियामेंट में 2001 में देखा, आज फिर वही हो सकता था. उसमें कोई अंदर पहुंच गया, सारी लेयर सिक्योरिटी की ब्रीच कर दी, और उसके बाद जिस तरीके से वहां उसने किया है, वो आपकी वीडियो लगातार लाइव चल रही है. दिस इज नॉट नॉर्मल. Nobody in this country can take this normal, because life of the member of parliament of this country were on stake today. This is not normal. There has to be a proper inquiry. And yes, the government sitting today is in question also, because this is the prime responsibility of the Home Minister to take care of all these things. Because the security of this nation, the security of the parliament, which is the biggest, हमारे देश का लोकतंत्र का मंदिर कहा जाने वाली जगह, आज वहां फिर से अटैक हुआ है. आज वहां फिर से वही कोशिश की गई है जो 2001 में हुई है. Thank God that every member of parliament is safe and secure. But the security.
No. Accountability needs to be fixed. Questions need to be answered. Dolly ji. Yes, absolutely. Look, accountability needs to be fixed. Ultimately, it is the government that will have to answer some very difficult questions as to how this happened. But was politics required barely hours after, the incident happened? Because after all, it were not just opposition MPs or BJP MPs who were on the floor of the house when it happened. It was everyone. So everyone's life was in the line. Had the gases these people were carrying poisonous, or if they were carrying a knife, that would have been a massacre as well. So we got...
That's what
my name is Shreya, just by the way, Dolly ji. You don't have to call me Madam Anchor.
Every member of parliament was on stake today. Every life was on stake today.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if barely hours after it happened, you needed to start making this about the BJP and the Congress. Anyhow, the opposition has to raise questions, and the questions they are raising are very valid. There are questions that have to be asked, and there are questions that the government will have to answer. Neerija Chaudhary, you were making a point before your frame froze. Would you go ahead and want to complete what you were saying?
Yes, I don't know when the frame froze, but certainly I said it's been a bizarre incident. Happening on the anniversary of Parliament attack. It really sent shivers down people in the country to see this, live and what could have happened. That all that is a given, and certainly accountability should be fixed. And also, it doesn't speak very highly of a government that claims to be tough. I fear also, access to parliament will now get further tightened. And I suppose it is inevitable because you can't risk this kind of thing. But as far as making politics out of it, earlier panelists had a point. Had it been an opposition MP who issued the pass or facilitated the pass, certainly they would have been criticized more than a BJP MP is. And yet I would say this is not the time to politicize the issue. They have to close ranks because this is very, very serious matter. Of course, the government must be held accountable and there must be inquiries. All that must happen. But to make politics out of it at this stage, I think is not called for.
Okay, as I leave, can I just quickly get in Karan Verma? Karan Verma, this could have ended up in a disaster. We understand that, we know that. If there are 3 layers of security in Parliament being breached, where 2 people who are to get into the visitors gallery in their shoes can carry a material that sets off smoke and color within the Parliament premises, this could have ended very, very badly had there been affiliations with any terror organizations. So far of what my colleague Bhavtosh is picking up, they're saying questioning is currently underway. It doesn't for the moment seem like this was linked to any terror activity or a terror organization. But again, investigations are underway. We'll get to know more probably in the next 48 hours or so. But Karan Verma, as we look back to the day and what has happened, would you say that the government needs to answer some questions sooner rather than later? I understand the need to question. I understand the need to be absolutely sure. But I also understand the need for a government or the Home Minister to step out and say, this is what has happened. These are the people who did it. Why they did it is something not very clear. We are trying to find out. That sort of communication would have been great from a government that is headed by a man who's a great communicator.
Shreya, we have a disastrous security system in place right now, and I don't hold my punches when I say this. When we talk of assemblies, no protocols. These are just when you frisk or when you do it, there is no accountability right now of the head marshal to the lower marshal. CCTV footages are not audited on a daily basis, which should be the norm. We are sitting at a disaster. I see this as a wake-up call. At least now let's wake up. Ki saste mein bach gaye hum log. This could have been so bad. And yes, you are right. The Prime Minister, the Home Minister must actually answer this. They must come to the forward, but I think they'll wait to get to the bottom of the issue. And the bottom of the issue is there is no accountability of the head marshals. They absolutely today have become focal centers of issuing passes or procurements or tendering. That's all they are doing right now.
No, accountability will have to be fixed, and accountability will have to be fixed because this is not just any building that was breached. This was India's parliament. This is the repository of our democracy that was breached today. Questions will need to be answered, and these are tough questions that will need to be answered. We'll leave it there for the moment. Karan Verma, thank you very much. Sharma, thank you. PK Mishra, thank you very much. And Neerja Chaudhary, thank you very much for joining us as well. On that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. We'll get you some other news from across the world and the country. Do stay with us.
हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट